Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. We have our last session in the series of illness with Suchada Navasit, and we have questions. And we just have questions from different people, and we just read them the way they came in. And so I will answer them and also give you some more advice at the end, how you can figure out the easiest way, what really is going on in your body. Okay, let's start.
So, high or low blood pressure, what is the topic to look into?
Okay, the blood pressure in general. Now, this is the pressure. This is where the heart pushes out the blood into the body. Now, you know, when you're getting very nervous or when you stress, very often your heart reacts. In a stress situation, it beats faster. And if you maybe in a fear situation, it slows down, and that's the pressure. So generally, everything with high blood pressure is connected that you are under too much pressure. And, you know, of course, always remember, when we have a symptom in the body, we don't know it anymore in the mind. So you don't recall anyway that you're under stress. It becomes like your norm. So you're under stress again and again. Like, for example, a stressful job in a city, you know, you have to go very early. You have to be in the traffic 2 hours in the morning to get there. And this is absolute natural, not normal, natural, that your body will react to that stress, and it will most likely give you a high blood pressure. And if it's the opposite, if you are in a fear-based state, you're afraid of your boss, you're afraid of this, the whole thing slows down, and then we go into underfunction, and that is not enough pressure. So that means your blood does not flow fast enough, not strong enough to bring the oxygen into your whole body. So always blood pressure in general, under how much pressure am I? How do I handle pressure? That are the questions you have to ask yourself.
Okay. Oh. And another question, what is the topic of
anorexia and bulimia?
Anorexia and bulimia. It's a bit difficult word. You know, we can say that's just that is the vomiting that you eat, that some people eat too much and then vomit it again and are skinny. This is like, again, remember about the whole digestive topics we had. You would like to eat, you want the goodies for the life, but you don't feel that you deserve it, or you don't feel that you're good enough to have it. You don't want to take on any weight. You can see sometimes very skinny people here, and that means you don't really want to have a present in life. So this is a lot. Generally, this is a woman's problem, right? So we can, first of all, and again, there are only two gender, you know, with a whole lot of shit, we just leave it out here. Many young women are not willing anymore to be a woman, and this is also because of all that confusion, because it is a huge misunderstanding what a woman is. People don't know anymore, because with the whole brainwash the last 150 years, mainly, we can say, or close to 200 years, is to put women down. The woman is less, is worth less. You can see when you have a job, the same job, exactly the same job, the man becomes more money than a woman doing the same work. It's everywhere the same. So this is something that I feel to be a woman is like, it feels like to vomit, to kind of vomit it out. You don't really want to be a woman, because when you're very skinny, a woman does not have breasts, or you know, the round shapes of a female body. The more skinny you are, the more you are kind of neutral, become a tomboy. But again, remember, you have incarnated in a certain gender because that's your lesson.
Okay.
Whatever you change it, even if you trans in another gender, it's an experience. But most likely, when we look from a karmic perspective, when you transit in another gender, you might have chosen that experience. But when I tune in into the spirit, I don't really find this experience unless it's just painful. Because you cannot completely change. Remember that when you have already the body there, the bone structure, especially around the belly area, that is, a woman is different. The muscles are different. You can see the fingers are different. The hands are different. Shapes are different for a woman and a man, even if you pretend to be the other gender. And there's the emotional body of a woman. You know, the balance between emotion and mind is also different for a woman than a man. Because generally you incarnate because a man is more rational, has a different way of doing things than a woman who is more intuitive. And what is actually happening in this lifetime also in when we are transitioning in a higher frequency, we need to balance within us female and male, but we can never balance it in the physical body. So once we are not ready to balance male and female, yin and yang within, and we do it in the body, we fail because the body is not working properly. Because it's never gonna work properly. And one of the agenda, you know, behind all that is also reduced population. But that's not even a topic we need to talk about here. But this is also one of the reasons. But generally, the whole topic of anorexia and bulimia is connected with that topic, not want to be female.
So it's about self-worth.
Yeah.
So you are saying if a woman should take care of their body as a woman for the male energy, they should like build the inner strength.
Yes, you know, we have both in each body, right? You have also just from the just look at the physical part, like our teeth. You know, this is a male part, and then the swallowing is a female part. So we have a lot of female male activities within our body. But when you are a woman, this is the gender. And where you're man, again, the gender is different and the hormone system is different. And that leads you into a more different direction. And now when we talk about ascending, what we have to do with balancing within is like balance the mind and the emotions. The man tends to be more in the mind, the woman tends to be more in emotions and feelings. So men generally have to learn to feel more, to balance the emotions, the feeling, and don't disregard it because all women, they are emotional. I don't have to be emotional. No, listen and feel into your emotion. And the woman, be a little bit more rational. Don't fall into emotion, you know, don't fall into depression. Women tend more to fall into depression because they don't rationalize things properly. So this is what we have to learn to balance. And this is like taught in meditation in many different ways, how you can help to balance your yin and your yang. You can do activities, yin and yang, differently. But your body will never change. Even if you do operations and if you take hormones, whatever, it's not going to change. It's an illusion. I mean, you might remember there is one very famous case that comes in media often from a guy who was a swimmer, and he was in his rank around worldwide about 300 something. Then he declared to be a woman and he was winner. You see that this is the difference because of the whole muscles and everything. And when they ask why you do that, oh, I want to be happy. Everybody want to be happy. That's not an excuse to pretend to be a woman, to just be first in a discipline because you're stronger. You have stronger muscles than a woman. So this is the whole, I don't even say the word what I want to say, what is going on in the moment. And we have to see, that's what we have to wake up. I talked about that in the astrology yesterday. We have to look at that. We have to let that anger come up to the surface and look at it and then release it.
Wow.
Okay, next questions.
So I have had cold hands and feet since I was a child, and maybe underfunction as they have diagnosed me with fibromyalgia.
I don't know the word either.
Yeah,
I'm not good in medical terms.
Yeah, which means
Underfunction.
which mean they haven't clue what's wrong with you. The symptom vary.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I know these words because I read them a lot, but sometimes when it comes to pronounce them, it's very difficult. So generally, cold hand and cold feet. And also the next question is actually what you here was, I easily have sweaty hands and feet. I cannot detect what's causing it. It comes and goes. One thing I notice is that during nighttime, before I go to bed, the sweat would go away. And when I wake up, it's back instantly. This goes a little bit in the same direction because see, that's also an underfunction or overfunction, and it's connected with fear. So like the hands, we are handling the world, you know, hand and feet. I'm standing my ground. And this shows how much you are connected to the world. So when you have cold hands and the blood is not coming up here and give you cold hand, and that's not just because maybe it was winter and you've been out there for many hours, you come back with cold hand. That's not the same topic. But there are people, they live even in Thailand here, have a hot country, but still have cold hand. And that means that the blood, again, we come back to the heart. The blood is not coming all the way to the limbs. That means I refuse to partake in life. And now when it comes to the opposite, which actually comes to hot hand, you know, hot hand and sweaty hand is fear. I have experienced it once when I was driving a motorbike. I was really afraid. And the moment I started, you know, to hold, and my hand sweat so much that it slipped because I was very much afraid to be on a motorbike. So generally the sweat, and this is also very clear that you have during the day, the moment you go to bed, you relax, you don't have to fear anything anymore. So the sweat goes away. It comes back when you wake up and you go into the day. And this is both is sweaty feet and sweaty hand, and cold feet and cold hand is going into the same topic. And this is now also, you know, we have so many ways to run away from life with the computers and all the cyberspace we have today. And a lot of especially young people, they are spending so much time in a virtual reality, which is not going to bring them forward. So they very often, very likely, they have underfunctions, which comes often with cold hand and cold feet. And if they are challenged to do something, you know, I had actually just recently, there was a guy also, and I was surprised that he wanted to shake hands, and his hands were cold and sweaty, you know, and soft, you know. This is that very, very typical. I don't really want to partake in life, and the sweaty part, I'm afraid I want to be polite to you. I want to give you my hand because kind of my father is pushing me or whatever. But it's not coming from him. He smiled politely, but there's nothing. When you look into the eyes, I would like to shake the guy and say, hey, is somebody home? Because he has this kind of look at you that you have a feeling he's not even in his body. And you see that very often, especially at universities. If you go around, you see the people walking around, you know, and you have a feeling they walk automatically. They are not in their body. They are somewhere, but not here.
I have one more topic that it just came up. Sometimes I notice that before I always like hold my breath or have short breath. Does this relate to fear also?
Yes, yeah. It just remember when you're coming, like just in a situation like in a car, when, oh, there's an accident, or oh, I just made it, you know, kind of hold your breath for a moment. Interrupting the rhythm, which is sometimes a really good thing because we have to interrupt the rhythm once in a while. The rhythm is also habit, to interrupt the habit. Because most people, they just live in habit all the time. They, like, again, we said that before, you have the same breakfast, same lunch, and then you go from 9 to 5 or whatever. The rhythm in life is always the same. Actually, this is why we have a Sunday, a holy day. In different religions, it's different days, or that is meant that we have an interruption in the week for one day. We don't do what we do all other days.
Oh.
Okay. Next question.
Yes.
Depression and anxiety, are they considered an illness? How do we heal mental illness?
You know, maybe when you have the word illness, ill, we can also use the word disease, dis-ease. Everything what is out of balance is a disease, or you can say an illness. And depression and anxiety are symptoms. So absolutely, yes, we can also put it into the category of illness in general, but this is an illness that has not yet reached the body. It is still in the mental and emotional realm. But from the mental and emotional realm, it has an effect. It has like a rays into the body that affect a certain organ that is connected with the topic that the anxiety is about, or the depression. What is the root of the depression? So generally, the root of any depression is that you're not good enough, and you can never match the expectation of others. And when you look in systems, school systems, we can look at business, whatever. It is generally that the boss or the teacher or whoever it is always put you down. You're not good enough. You have to learn a lot more. You have to better yourself. I just heard that from somebody that she also made in a talk with the boss. I have to better myself. No, you have to be yourself. But most people have no idea who they are. So they always better themselves according to expectation of other people, like the expectation of the boss where you work, the expectation of the parents, the expectations of the teachers. But this is not you. And this is where depression comes from, because you are not you. You cannot live yourself, express yourself creative. And then it's depression is coming and you give up. Oh, I'm never going to make it anyway. I have just to follow these rules. But again, this is then not conscious. You just feel tired. You feel, depressed. And the anxiety is, again, the anxiety is fear, is the fear aspect of it. So when you know that, okay, the boss thinks I'm not good enough anyway, I gotta have a talk with my boss or whatever, then the fear comes up, and this is the anxiety. So the one thing to improve is just to start to connect with your divine self and get to know who you really are, and connect with yourself, and stop to listen to other people telling you what you have to be, who you have to be, how you have to act. but listen to your own inside and come up and stand up for who you are. And for a lot of people, that will be really involving change of environment, maybe leaving family, leaving job, leaving whatever. And this is the time now to do it. If I don't know if we ever have an opening like that again, like the one we have in the moment. It's very powerful. And if we don't deal with this frustration, with this anger in the moment, when you want to deal with it, when it's already in the body, when it's already manifest as cancer, it's still, yeah, you deal with it because you deal with pain. Once you have pain, this is your focus is in the pain. And you are forced to look at it. Like when you have a bad headache and you have to walk around the whole day and do your work, your pain is very, very strong the whole day, and it's there. It has its presence, whatever it is, you know, whatever symptom it is.
I heard for some depression case that when at the end they got diagnosed that because of the chemical in the brain is not balanced.
Of course.
Once they take the medication, the depression goes away.
Yeah, because you can make some chemical changes in the body. That's what allopathic medicine is doing, but you don't solve the problem. So you can make this balance in the body, but then the body has to find another way to talk to you and tell you, hey, something's wrong with you. And then another illness symptom comes up. Because what allopathic medicine is doing has nothing to do with healing. It is just pushing symptoms around. You can take some chemical remedies to change chemistry within the body, but this is not real happiness. This is not real satisfaction or creativity. It's an escape route, and you cannot escape your life. And it's something also what is very often depression is often self-pity. The poor me saying, oh, I'm such a poor thing, I cannot make it anyway. Oh, they are always better than me. Oh, and you sink into depression.
I see.
So, like, for example, also we can see in families very often. Like, for example, this is like a very typical housewife story. She always has, you know, would you please, would you? And so she always runs around, does everything for the family. Maybe she even have a job, but, you know, it's not like when usually he comes home and just think of somebody, then they have a job both. But when she come home from her job, he expects her to do the household, to wash the laundry, to do this, to cook for him, and blah, blah, blah. So she has a double job. And at one point, this escalates. And then, of course, comes the self-pity because she's not courageous enough to stand up for herself. And so she starts to have illness, depression, headaches, stomach aches, whatever. I cannot take it anymore. And then the symptoms come up.
Wow. Okay, for the next question. Cancer or tumor causing from self-rejection or self-conflict and anger. How do we know which area of life to improve?
Now, see, this is actually relatively simple. You probably all have a computer at home and you go and look where is your tumor? What organ is connected with it? And then you go online and you check out what is the function of this organ. And when you look again at the function, like, for example, let's talk lung, you know? Breathing in, breathing out, connecting with the world, giving part of you that was in your body out into the world, and then take it back. And the air is in the world since the world exists. So we breathe the same air as anybody else, as our animals, as the birds, as the good guys, as the bad guys. This is very mingle with the world. So when you have a tumor, when you have a cancer in your lung, then look at the function. It is the connection, it's the interaction, it's the rhythm in and out, yin and yang in harmony. So whenever you have a tumor, the tumor does not come overnight. It's usually a very long period that people have already problem with that certain organ. My mulberry juice. So when you have a problem with an organ, then it gives you a very, very clear indication about the topic, what it is. Stomach cancer, ulcer, colon cancer, cannot digest, cannot let go. It's very clear. It's very, very clear. Just forget all about these scientific fancy names that don't tell you anymore what it really is. Like, for example, diabetes in the German tradition was simply more or less like love diarrhea. The sugar diarrhea is going through your body, you cannot keep it. So in ancient times, we had still words that were very clearly telling what is going on. And the word actually in German of diarrhea is falling through. So the sugar falling through. So the sugar stands for the sweets in life, is falling through you. It's not sticking. And if you look a little bit at people, at their behavior, when you know about their illness, and what is really very interesting is that people are always very happy to talk about their illness. Oh, I have such this and this. And you know, I went to many doctors and nobody can find out what I have. And they're even proud of it. How they can hide their problems, you know. And you have no idea what they're telling you if somebody knows about illness. This is very, very enlightening.
Yes. We have one
of my friends.
That case.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to ask about the skin cancer.
Well, what is skin? The skin is separating you from the others.
Oh.
How about boundaries? Think boundaries. And in addition, the skin is your biggest elimination organ. You sweat, a lot of stuff come out through your skin. So these are the two topics that you have to look at. You cannot let go again of poison within you when it's stuck in the skin, you know. And boundaries.
I thought skin was about the appearance.
Well, appearance has a topic to it too, but secondary. Again, you want to appear as something you're not, maybe. You want to not, you know, the whole topic of not losing face. You know, I just grin, you know, I go to town here and about half people still or even more wearing masks. And here is a topic, losing face. They all lost their face already. And I've seen many taking off their mask, having swollen skin, have rashes, all kind of stuff. It's horrible. Why don't they get it? They get even comfortable in their mask, comfortable with not enough oxygen. Now imagine how much of the brain is already dead. And then you have masses of sheep who you just can manipulate however you want.
So we have to really look into the function of each organ.
Yes.
Then we can interpret the topic.
Yes.
We have to. Okay.
But it's always good when you work together with somebody else, because again, when you have an illness, when something has fallen into the body, you don't see it. Even if you can interpret and read about it, you might not recognize it because it's in the body. But then it's very good to talk to somebody who maybe also is a little bit into this topic, understanding, and who is honest, and somebody who's not judging, because we all are sick, all of us. we have been poisoned the last, I don't know how many decades. We eat poisonous food, and we all struggle with maintaining a more or less a healthy body. This will be different in the future, but this is still a topic of today. So do the best you can. But I don't know anybody who has no symptoms at all. Me not either. I have symptoms too. But today I understand them better.
And we all have accumulated symptoms from many ignorance since birth, so illness can get mixed up. Please advise the way to observe which topic is priority to look into.
The priority, what you have to look at is what is acute in the moment, what bothers you in the moment. Don't go back in time or whatever to do some, this is kind of, again, like some therapy does, go back to childhood or whatever. Even past life regression has a certain function, is very, very good, but not for this. And I agree absolutely that we have brought illness from other lives into this life. But first we need to deal with the topic. Why did you bring it into this life? Why did you bring it from early childhood and you still have it? Because it's a problem you have not resolved. Very simple. So again, it's always the question, what does the symptom force me to do? And what can I not do because of the symptom? And then look at the organ, whatever it is, and deal with that. And once you deal with that, and that maybe is solved, and you have the consciousness about it, then maybe another symptom comes up, and then look into that. Just whatever is right in front of you is what you have to look at. You don't have to search. It's there.
Oh.
Sometimes I just get used to it. Like, I heard some friends, they have like the migraine and it comes and goes.
Yeah. Again, sexual problems. You have your orgasm in the head instead of down there in the sexual organs. Oh, yes. Tension building up, and then the vomiting from the migraine would be down there would be the orgasm. Sexual problems, migraine, yes. And migraine is usually always one-sided in the head. We have different kind of headaches, but migraine is always either on the left or on the right side.
So it means that they need to have more sexual.
Yeah, that would be good if they would have good sex. Absolutely. But maybe the partners, they don't fit together. Maybe it's not the right partner, or whatever. There are many topics, or it's the education that you are not free to have sex, or sex is bad, or sex is dirty, or, there's so many. I mean, we could talk hours and hours about this, but generally migraine has something to do with sexuality, because it is exactly the same process. The first, that tension that build up, in one way, like a very nice tension that build up, right? And then it becomes more and more, and it starts to bump, blood flow, and then it comes the release, the vomit, or in the other case, a nice orgasm. And then you're tired. And you relax. Same with the head too. Then you sleep.
Okay. Oh, wow, good idea.
I'll share this with my friend.
It is, yeah. And honestly, it's even better to masturbate than just leave it like that, because some people, they don't have a partner.
Okay.
It's also something we come here again with good and bad, and you should know, depending on your education. I mean, when we were young, we were not really told what's going on. We had more or less to find out ourselves. But the lucky ones did find out.
Mhm. Okay, for the next question, I am still working on the tiredness. So I was wondering if
Tiredness.
tiredness is a specific symptom that we can work on.
Tiredness has also something to do with symptoms that are many symptoms in the body can be the cause of it. Generally, what is happening right now also in the transition of the energy of the planet, tiredness is more common. Then this like chronic fatigue is more common because we are shifting the frequency. It is like when you have a plug of 220 volt and suddenly you want to put 10,000 volt through that same cable, the cable burns. Now, our body has to be very slowly adjusted to a higher frequency. This is also connected with us moving into the photon belt, which is a light energy, which also has something to do with the weather and many other things that are going on. So tiredness is always a sign that we need to get more rest, generally, because again, we are in transition into another frequency, and that needs more rest because the body then can relax and can adapt and integrate the new frequency. Then it is often connected also with the food. And of course, another reason, that's what I also feel very strong here now, I have to work with wireless. I get very tired. And I cannot work that long anymore as I could when I had a cable. So I need to find a solution for that. So many environmental poisons are around us. Frequencies are also poisoned in food again that make us tired. So look at the situation. When are you tired? When do you feel oh my God, now I need to go and lay down? And that is very important that you look at the timing. Then we also, you can look that up online. We have an organ clock because our organs have a certain time in a day when they work or when they relax. It can be something that is connected with an organ. Like, for example, if I remember right, don't take me on that, most people die around 3 o'clock in the morning when they die a natural death. And this is the time of the lung when they stop breathing. So we have different, I don't remember everything here, but there are many different things. Look always into when it happened and be very honest about yourself. Do I have enough sleep? Do I have enough rest? And again, it's about the stress we talked about, low blood pressure, whatever. People have low blood pressure usually are more tired.
Oh, I have a low blood pressure.
So kick his ass a little bit more.
But I think from what you recommend, it might be difficult for those who work 9 to 5 or those who, they have to be in the meeting all day.
Yes, absolutely.
What would be the recommendation for them?
Well, you may be in the wrong job.
Oh, I am in the wrong job.
I think most people who function on a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever schedule, they are on the wrong job anyway, and this will change. But a lot of people now, you know what is happening in the world now, that people start to make little communities. A lot of people have quit their jobs all over the world, and they start little communities. Like, for example, the plumber quit his job and then goes with his neighbors. Okay, I'm a plumber, I'm gonna help you. And the other one is, oh, I'm growing this, I'm gonna help you. That they really make communities. They sit together, they plan, what can I contribute to this community? And that will be our future.
Help each other.
And not this organized life in the city, like, you get up at 5 o'clock because you have to get to your job, and this is not a natural life anymore. It is normal, it is norm, A4, A5, and so on. Everything is being pressed into a norm, but it's not natural. And this is, again, why we are sick, what I said before. We are pressed into a norm which goes against our nature. And the more you start to get up and really do something about it, go away. from where you are in a situation that is making you sick, then because the really interesting thing is that the cosmos and any energies around you will support you once you realign to your natural life. You will have supports, you will meet people, you have coincidences in life that you never have because you miss it all the time, because you're so focused in your routine that you don't even see left and right. So that's about tiredness. It has two aspects to it in a moment. It is like you have to look at what is tiring you in your life, and at the other hand, we have to see the situation of our shifting energies.
Okay, very powerful message to me. Okay, we go to the last question. Anger. I am peacemaker, therefore try not to get angry. Is there a way to release your anger in a productive way?
No.
Oh, should I do?
You know, when anger is within, it is always that we have to suppress something. Again, we come back to the topic, you're not good enough. So you have to suppress who you are. And, you know, very often what peacemakers are doing actually are, oh, you don't have to get angry. Oh, I want to have peace. They cannot face aggression. Then aggression is, again, a negative energy. Think about energy, you know, when it accumulates. Energy in general is neither good nor bad. It's energy and we need it. We have a pole, a negative and a positive pole in electricity and the grounding. So if that is disturbed within you, you have too much or not enough energy. Again, hot hand, cold hand, whatever. Too much, not enough. And then anger is an accumulation of negative emotions, of fear, of anxiety, of, again, feeling not good enough and so on. And it is important that we get rid of our anger. And I was actually talking about it in my astrology, because right now, especially, it is time to get rid of this anger, because we can never be in balance. We can never be in harmony as long as we carry anger with us. So maybe you listen, and I put it at the end of the video, the reading that I did about getting rid of frustration and anger. That is the topic that is very, very important in the moment. Remember, when you have a TV station and you switch to another one, you cannot take anything from this TV station to the other one. That one is just gone. Now, same with us. If we are moving frequency, you cannot take the old stuff with you. It has to go. It has to go, all of it. And I talked about that several times with the negativity also in the world, on the planet, which some are manifested within human beings. They have to go. We cannot take that negative energy into a higher vibration. You cannot take your illness into a healthy body. This bacteria and the toxins, whatever is in the body, if you want a healthy body, you have to get rid of the toxins. Otherwise, you won't be healthy. So when we are moving from a lower level of 3D that we talk about, third dimension, into a fifth dimension of everything what is connected with third dimension is not able to exist on the fifth. And this is letting go. And now this is the big test of humanity. Are you able to trust your higher self, your divine self, to be that divine being having a human experience? And the human experience is just a little part, a very, very little part of who you are. Do you have the courage to step up and follow your spirit? Do you have the courage to move on with and let go of all that 3D crap? That's about illness. And this is why illness is one of the most important teachers. Because again, when you have pain, you pay attention.
Okay.
And if you just take some chemical remedies to change the chemicals in the body, you don't get it. I know that sounds maybe harsh, but that's how it is.
I see.
There's no way around it. No way. Absolutely not. And you have to learn to take care of yourself, to love yourself, to be good to yourself, not to listen to others who belittle you. Oh, I know that topic, believe me. With what I'm talking about, and I knew already 40 whatever years ago, I was a crazy witch, crazy whatever. I know how it feels to be belittled, and it took a long process through illness to get to the point where I am now. But nobody can escape, you know, you have to get there. If you want to move in the higher dimension and not repeat on lower levels of consciousness again, all this anxiety, fear, and negative ways, then you can move on into the higher consciousness. You have to let go of fear. When we have the axis, the polarity, here is fear, here is love. If you want to be here at love, this one has to go.
Okay.
Tough one.
Oh, yes.
Tough one.
Okay. I think it's time to stop here, right? Okay, so again, go and browse whatever symptoms you have. This is my suggestion, that you study the symptom and you study the organ that it's connected with, and then you get answers. We will have a little break now. I have a very, very busy time coming up, so we pause a little bit now with our pearls of wisdoms. I might do some blogs and short card readings or stuff like that, and I will definitely do my astrology. Well, anyway, I just say that. So if you love our video, give us a thumbs up. And I look forward to talk to you again. And if you have questions, you know how to connect to me, and I'm still available. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
all.